Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Hope you guys had a great trading week. It was my first week back trading, as I told you guys last week. But for me, it was a pretty good one. Was happy to end on the week green. But I know I said earlier on the last video that I plan on having a new format where it's Saturday swings, Sunday still gonna be the same video, but Friday's lives. I think I was talking to some friends, and I think it's best if maybe the Friday lives is not yet maybe going through, but instead maybe uploading shorts on like trade recaps and things like that. That is maybe just more beneficial. I feel like live trading right now, it could be beneficial, but what I'm trying to say is I'm not trying to be one of those people that are just gonna say, okay, I'm trading live, copy my videos. I kind of want to roll out kind of why I took a trade and analysis on the trade. And so I'm going to be rolling out shorts throughout the week most likely. And I feel like that's the best decision just because, if I'm able to roll out these shorts, I think you guys could see what truly I did and why I decided to take that trade. But other than that, Saturdays I'm still also trying to get the format right on swings. That's still going to happen. But then Sundays, same old weekly analysis video. And yeah, so obviously today, or obviously for the start of this week, right now we ended up up on the week. It was not bad overall. The market pushed up above all-time highs again. We're at new all-time highs. Right now for overnight hours, our all-time highs are at 65.08, and then for real-time hours, I believe it's at 65.03ish, if I'm not wrong, somewhere around here. If I am not wrong, 65.03. Yeah. But overall, pretty stable Monday. Overall, I think we had a bit more of a consolidation period at the end of the week. Obviously, you can see here Monday we pulled back a bit, and then obviously Tuesday we saw that rally, allowed us to then overnight push above those all-time highs, and then again, like I continue to reiterate, we are in a bullish market. There are a lot of indicators indicating that risk is on. Risk on assets. Offensive sectors are outperforming compared to defensive sectors. I think there was even this news article that I saw throughout the week, and it's Goldman Sachs speculative trading indicator has hit like an all-time high, which basically it's an indicator from Goldman that they have based on kind of one, they have meme stock, they have penny stocks, they got unprofitable companies. I think one of their indicators is EV to sales times 10, which just goes to show that their actual enterprise value is 10 times more than their actual sales amount. So things like that just kind of indicate that the market is, on a risk on kind of market conditions right now. And people should not be thinking, oh, we're going to get a drawdown. Yes, there's a lot of news about overvaluations, a large AI market bubble we're in, and everyone has their opinions on it. Do I agree that we are in a market bubble? Yes, I do agree. However, when it's going to pop, no one knows. Nobody could come up to you and tell you the market bubble is going to pop next week. There will be a period where it pops because there are high valuations. There's just a lot of stuff that isn't heading towards the right direction. But again, till the short term being a short term trader is what we understand is there is a bull market happening. Risk on assets are on the table. People are putting money into cryptocurrency. People are putting money into speculative stocks. People are putting money into small cap companies, things like that. So when you start to see that, and when you start to see offensive sectors in the market start to outperform a large amount, you want to be in that market long, right? And so, there's no doubt in my mind that we continue to push higher until we see a little bit more drawdown in the case, or we start to see a little bit of more an asset rotation. We start to maybe see people fall out of those speculative stocks and start heading over into more defensive stocks and stuff like that. And it's actually really interesting because this week, and let me see if I can pull it up for you guys. This week was actually really interesting because we actually did see, and if I pull it up on a chart, we did see a little bit of rotation. And again, this is just an example of what I'm going to be talking about when it comes to those Saturday videos. But we did see actually a bit of more outperformance from a couple of um, defensive stocks. One of them being that healthcare stock. Healthcare is actually, for some reason, week to date is actually up 4.65%, which is really interesting. That is a defensive sector in the market. You have XLV, which is healthcare. Then you got XLP, which is consumer staples, things that you just gotta buy, essential goods that you buy from. And then utilities, which if you do look into utilities, some of these companies, utilities is up a lot. I think in the past month, if I'm not wrong, yeah, up 3.43%. But I think if you really look at the basket of goods when it comes to XLU, the ETF, um, a lot of it is actually tied to that AI, performance kind of those more volatile companies, those more momentum companies. So one could argue that XLU is actually a more offensive sector currently. But, that's something that we'll talk about on Saturday's videos and stuff like that as I start to get the format. But overall, on the 5 day, also you could see on the week we saw that the most outperforming sectors continue to be those risk on assets. XLK is actually one of them that, actually if you look at 1 month, XLK is one of the more outperforming ones. But you could still see that month to date, we still got those offensive sectors outperforming the market. You still got consumer discretionary, you still got communications, you still have XLK still being positive. Only one that's kind of lacking is XLF. That's actually a sector to really keep in mind because if this market continues to rally up, I do not see why XLF being an offensive sector would not follow it, right? But other than that, I really don't want to get too much into that. Another notable thing throughout this week is we actually defended previous all-time highs pretty nicely. You could see I had it marked out here on the chart, 64, 68.5 being previous overnight all-time highs, and then the real-time hours being, I believe, 64.51-ish, things like, yeah, 64.51-ish was the previous all-time highs, which is the actual real-time hours. And so that's something to really look at. But overall, really nice defensively, and that's what you expect in a bull market. You expect previous pullbacks to be held. You expect previous all-time highs to be supported, things like that. Sentiment in the market is very bullish right now, and I cannot reiterate that enough. And so I do not want people to believe that if they go on Twitter and see some fake as furu, and I'm sorry for my profanity, but if they see some guy saying, "Oh, the market's gonna crash, this and that," don't believe them. It's like people on Twitter nowadays, people on YouTube are just posting stuff for views. They're just posting stuff for clicks. And if there's something from me that I could promise you guys is I'm gonna be the most transparent trader, most transparent investor there is in this world. I'm I'm still in that learning process, not in the learning process of, what is right and what's wrong, but more in the learning process of how to adapt to different conditions. And so one thing I've realized is that keeping it simple is going to be what outperforms the market. There are lots of statistics, and again, I think this is something I'll talk about in the video. There's lots of statistics that show that trends hold on for longer than people expect. If you want to start, you know, if you really want to start getting into shorts up here, by all means, it's your money. Do whatever you want. But one thing I will say is that we are in a bull market. The probability of that working towards your favor is not high, right? And so I want to be a very transparent trader with you guys. I really want to showcase, my growth to you guys and all my opinions on the market. But one thing that I will say, and I don't think this is an opinion, it's more a fact. Twitter and the YouTube space when it comes to trading is very false. It's a very big lie. A lot of people think that trading is an easy thing that you just can hop into and make a bunch of money. A lot of people on Twitter are posting kind of this kind of, oh, market sell-off is going to happen soon, this and that. Don't believe it. Don't believe it because they're just clicking it they're just doing it for your clicks, for your views, because they make money off of that, right? And what I can guarantee you is if you watch my channel, if you support what I'm doing, I will never, ever, ever be just clickbaiting you guys for some views. I'm not going to put on the title, oh, is this the market sell-off? Nuh-uh. I'm going to give you guys some real-time analysis, some real-time feedback on what I think is currently occurring on the market. And without a doubt, what is occurring in the market is we are at all-time highs. We are at all-time highs. We continue to be in a bullish market. And yeah, and I think to show you guys actually kind of that chart, that thing I was telling you guys right here is that article I was finding, but there's actually, and let me see if I could find it. I think it was, let me see. Um, there is, and let me just find it for you guys. I'll show you guys the chart. And right here, I think I found. right here. If you see right here, this is that kind of Goldman Sachs speculative trading indicator, and you could see that's hit one of the sharpest 3 month spikes, and yeah, on record for Goldman Sachs, right? Last time we had that was in 2020. Last time we had that was back then. And again, this is when you start to see, a lot of people start to get scared. But one thing, short term wise, is risk. Like it says, risk appetite, risk on assets. People are willing to invest more in these risk on assets because we are in a positive market right now. We are in a large market right now, and so again, again, like for me, it's just really important to really see that risk on continues to be it, and I truly don't know what's gonna happen next week, next month, whatever it is, but you start to see the kind of hints, and you start to see little by little what may occur. You start to maybe see some more rotation into defensive sectors, and then you start to maybe prepare. But one thing is for sure is you're never gonna, and I will reiterate this as much as possible, you will never catch the top, you will never catch the bottom, never. So you're not going to be the next Michael Burry that started shorting before the 2008 financial crisis. I can guarantee you. No one is like that. And, you are not like that. You are not Michael Burry. But it's best to really start to see the cards get revealed before you truly start to put in the money, right? You really want to see the flop. You really want to start to see the flop. For those that play poker, you really want to see the flop before you start to raise, before you start to put in more money and stuff like that, right? And so then that in the long term is going to help you out more. But again, that was a little rant session for you. Obviously, weekly profile kind of have that nice little P distribution. What we saw, like I said, on Monday we had that kind of sell off, not sell off, but kind of that just down day, and then Tuesday push into all time highs. Broke the previous real-time high, all-time highs, which is around those 51s and things like that. Saw that. Then we just saw a massive rally where we saw consolidation at these highs. This to me is very bullish, but also really depends on what we do. Do we continue higher? And that's what we want to see. And so that's what I have for my levels, and you're going to see right here. For my weekly bullish level, I have above 65.03, and that represents the real-time hours, RTH, all-time highs, right? So that's going to be the all-time highs for when the market is open from 9:30 to 4. When I say real-time hours, those are 9:30 to 4:30 hours. So this is the all-time highs for for the actual live session. And then for the weekly bearish, we have that previous all-time highs that we have at 64.61. For me, I think if we are unable to hold this, then I believe we do see possibly another move. Possibly lower at this VPOC at 64.05. I think that's a possible thing. But other than that, we continue to be in a bullish market. We continue to hold this. I think the most bullish scenario, short-term bullish, is if we continue above 65.03 and we continue to hold this volume that we had right here. You can see that large amount of volume. And for those that don't know, and if maybe this is your first video watching, but a P-shaped profile is two case scenarios, right? One, we have this consolidation of volume. What we want to see, we have this ceiling, a break above that ceiling, and then continue back, a pull back if it occurs, and then to continue higher. Another scenario we could see is it's possible that we could even see a break above and then fails, and that could be a short-term bearish condition that you could possibly see a possible short play where you probably reverse it back to the mean of the profile. You could probably take it back at these lows again. Right now, if you clearly see, we are in kind of like this little 3-day consolidation balance period. That's something you want to see, right? You want to keep in mind that we are kind of in this balance period. Another case scenario is in the case that we do see maybe we don't continue up higher, then we see this drawdown. What you then want to kind of see is if we continue up higher, if we get back above into that volume, or what we do is we reject it and then we continue lower. That's a possible scenario. But one thing is for sure is when you have these P-shaped profiles, and this is my opinion, when we have these P-shaped profiles, this is an unfinished market. So what this means is a finished market is when you start to see a profile where it's kind of like this, and it's you have two tails on that side. What that means is there was no more sellers interested in here because you see that kind of spike, and then there is no more buyers interested here because you see that spike down, right? That to me shows a finished market. Right here, the reason this doesn't show a finished market is the fact that we don't know how price is going to react above this level. We do not know. We just know that it's a P-shaped profile. and that there's a lot of volume transacting within right here within this P shape, but we don't know if people are interested in buying here. We don't know if people are interested in buying here or here. We don't know that, right? And so that's why for me, a finished market is one that you see a tail on both sides. This shows that buyers are no longer interested because you obviously see that low volume tail. No one's really interested in buying this. And then here you see buyers are no, or sellers are no longer interested at selling at this level because you see that tail. This again does not really show what is going on in this price range. We do not know what is going on in this price range right here. So that's why we really want to see what the market reacts. If the market reacts with a break above and then fails below, then that show to me shows a finished auction and that buyers no longer want to transact at that level. Then we could possibly see a short-term pullback in the short term. All right, but again, that's really important. And another thing I really want to show you guys is this is kind of that 3-day balance you see. This is what you kind of see. It's similar to that P-shaped profile, but you kind of do see we are in a balance condition. You can't see that right now. There's a tail at the bottom. There's a tail at the high, and that to me is really good because obviously you see that it's similar to what I was telling you. There's nobody really interested in transacting up here, and you can even see this positive delta right here. There was actually buyers not at the all-time highs, but close below these all-time highs. I would say 10 points lower. That there was a lot of buying actually here, but no continuation up higher. So this could mean there's a lot of trap buyers up here. Same thing down here, right? It's not as much as that, but you could kind of see some significant selling down here, but no continuation lower. Some trap sellers down here. You can even see that kind of tail down here, which shows that sellers are not interested in transacting at this price down here. But again, this is kind of that P-shaped profile we're going to see. If you see it, we kind of want to just continue above it. And so it's going to be really important what we see. We kind of are in those balanced conditions, so be on the lookout for that. Other than that, I think also as well, as always, pay attention to the VIX. I think the VIX is going to be very important. VIX is something that I use on a very big day-to-day basis. VIX for me is a key indicator to see if maybe we do see a short-term pullback. And to me, the VIX, whenever you see a spike in the VIX, you kind of see if you do zoom out probably since April, when you saw a spike in the VIX, that truly shows that we could be possibly at a market top or slash bottom. And so that's something to be on the lookout for. But again, VIX just gives you the volatility. You can see we are kind of in this 3-day range. I had these levels marked out since Wednesday, and since then I was already telling my Discord group that we are in balanced conditions. You want to be a bit cautious. You don't want to have the longest targets just because we are within this VIX range. And when the VIX is at all-time lows, as you can see, when the VIX is at all-time lows, do not expect the highest amount of volatility. Expect your trades to take forever, and that's what's going to occur, right? So be on the lookout for that. But you could see since Wednesday, been telling my group, been telling all the traders in my Discord that we are in balanced condition. We are within this range, and it continued to play out from Thursday to Friday. And then we shall see how we open up at 6. But other than that, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, we'll be rolling out YouTube Shorts throughout the week just to showcase you guys how what some trades I took this week. But just like a little short case, I did take 3 trades this week. 2 of them were green. 1 of them was a small red. On Monday, I was able to take a short after inability to continue above the previous day's high. I was able to take that really, really small profit. And let me just show you guys right here. I was able to take a small amount of profit, nothing crazy. The reason why, right? We are in a bullish market. Shorts are not going to be the highest probability. So you want to just have 1, size down, 2, shorter targets. And you can see right here, we did have that trade, but again, we took that short. We had that stop above the highs. We took it at the mid of the range. We took it at the bottom of the range. And again, the reason why shorts are not favorable right now, longs are favorable. So that's why the next day I was actually able to take the market long once again. And you could see had a great day this day. We took the market once down here after I saw some intraday buying down here. Had a small stop loss right here, 3 points. Then we were able to take the market once again up here, where we were able to scale out as it pushed up higher, and then the market did end up pushing to even the weekly bullish level above, right? And then on Friday, we did take another trade. It was honestly, in my opinion, a pretty good trade, but it was a long trade. Once again, we are in a bullish market. I was trying to long that market, but honestly, it was just mistiming, and it was just really unfortunate. It was just mistiming more than anything. Took the market once here, it took the market once here. We rallied, an ability, stopped out. Then I actually just took it twice. It was a small loss both trades, 2 point loss each trade, so just 4 points down. Overall, still green on the week. It was a great week for me. Great week to be back, and yeah. So I hope you guys have a great trading week. I hope you guys, keep the stuff I said in mind. We are in bullish conditions. If you want to take the market short, I'm not telling you to take a market, not to take the market short, but size down and keep those targets shorter, and just be aware that there's a higher probability of losing. Other than that, hope you guys have a great trading week. Be on the lookout this week for any YouTube shorts, any announcements that I have. But other than that, peace out, guys.